Hello everybody, welcome to Executive Assault 2. My name is Separate Astronaut. I'm going to be going over my opinions on this game, kind of like a review, so to speak, but not necessarily a review in terms of giving it a grade or a rating. So the first thing that I really want to say in terms of this game is it's a very fun game. I really do enjoy playing it, and I really enjoy what the developers have put into the game. First and foremost, it is worth $25 on Steam. You can go on Steam and you can actually purchase the early access copy. With that, of course, being said, I do want to start off by talking a little bit about this game in terms of how I feel the play style of it, and pretty much everything that I would positively say, as well as some constructive criticism and general feedback that I feel the developers could use to potentially make the game a little bit better, in my, again, opinion. So first and foremost, we want to explain a little bit about what the game is. Executive Assault 2 obviously is a game after Executive Assault. One thing, I didn't actually play Executive Assault, the first one. I'm really interested. I might actually go back and try that game out just to kind of see how the two kind of line up. But this is a real-time strategy and a first-person shooter at the same time, and we'll get into the whole game mechanics of it here in a second. But I want to go over just how this game feels, since I'm not really a big RTS player. I really do enjoy this game though. One thing that I'm excited to see this game really grow on is the early access list here that Rob has actually posted out. One major thing that I'm really waiting for is the campaign, primarily because the campaign, I'm interested to see how they flow this into the game. Protest is a upcoming one as well. It's basically where you can join in anyone's game and annoy the crap out of them with ships. So it gives them an opportunity to play against other people, just throwing protesters at them. And there's a lot of other things that they're things that they're really trying to push into the game here. And if you get the game, you can read through all of this, and you can read through some of the latest fixes that they have thrown in as well over the past couple of weeks. So now that we have that, we're going to talk about the real-time strategy function of it. The real-time strategy function of it is basically you're building parts of your space station, you're you're building starships, building robots, all these other things. You're collecting resources, so kind of like a StarCraft thing where you send mining ships out to get resources for I&I, or get resources for coolant, or you can send your starships out to attack either like protest ships or your enemy company ships, which we'll get into here in a second. The first-person aspect of it, you can actually walk around your space station as the CEO or the Executron, which we'll talk a little bit about the Executron a little bit later on in this review. But the CEO aspect of it, you do have a gun, so you can actually shoot if they board their ship with robots. You can shoot and kill the robots. I've done that. I believe I did that in a previous video I posted up. If not, then I'll show you guys a clip of it somewhere in this video. And the flight command and control room actually has a lot of other features as well. There's an opportunity that where you're walking around, you can actually like build starships and build robots and build your products off from inside of your space station, not mainly inside of the command and control room. So that's pretty cool too. And I did mention products. I do want to step this back a little bit to the game itself and how it runs. If you go to company profile here on the main page, you actually have a list of things that you can kind of look at. For instance, you can be the male CEO or the female CEO. You can change your company logo, or you can add your own company logo in if you really wanted to. And then of course you can change what your company manufactures. I put in giant squids because giant squids is funny. And you can also change the company profile name here. So if I wanted to, I could just change it to Astronauts Incorporated. So basically Astronaut Incorporated, and you can kind of like personalize this based to your own needs and everything. Another big thing, I haven't actually played any of the multiplayers yet, but I know that I've seen other people, I should say, play the multiplayer, and it's basically the exact same way that you would play a single player. The only difference is you have humans as well as potential AI. So if you do like three rival companies, you have 2 humans and 1 AI, as well as your own. So there's 3 humans, 1 AI, or you can do like 2 humans and 2 AIs, or whatever the case. You can't do Executron from the multiplayer setup, but I believe you can actually join some multiplayers as Executron. You can just click this little button right here and join as an Executron. And what an Executron is basically you just protect the protect the CEO. So if they board in, you're there with the robot shooting at them, and you can like move around, and you can actually look at the actual like galaxy, not necessarily the galaxy map, but you can actually look at the same view, so to speak, the execu view of the space station, and kind of like see what's going on outside. So that's pretty cool. Inside of the only real game type that you have other than the multiplayer aspect, you have your standard skirmish, which the standard skirmish is basically where you have either the CEO, or you can be either the CEO or the executron. You can do anywhere between 0 to 3 rival companies, and if you have 1 to 3, you can set their difficulties. In my opinion, the rival companies on medium are a little overpowered. They're really quick with what they do, and I feel like that is that could potentially be that could be changed. I honestly feel like if you have a medium, they shouldn't be like on top of you in 20 minutes. I feel like it should be a little bit longer. They shouldn't be able to build as many frigates or mini corvettes or whatever the case may be in that short amount of time, especially with the research being as long as it is, which we'll get to that here in a second as well. There's a lot of other things you can do in this screen as well. You can do game info where you do like fast construction, or you can turn a bunch of other things like protesters off. You can turn I haven't actually had from what I know, I haven't seen any raiders yet, so this may be something that comes in a future development. Diplomatic factions, these are factions that you can find in game. I'm going to put a little like screen of them up right here. Basically what it is, there's 3 of them. One of them is like really weird, Fluffatron, I believe, and basically, I don't know, she or he, I don't know what it is. They're really cool. As soon as you join in, they're like, oh hey, look, a new friend. Another one, he's like, hey, I'm cool with you, just don't do anything stupid. And then you have to pay you have to pay them a fine. The first one you don't have to pay a fine, like a fine to be able to build. Second 2 you do. The second one is he's kind of cool. He's not going to be like too crazy. He's not aggressive. I think his aggressive level is like 2 or 3. And then the last one is like the Death Bringers, and they're like really aggressive. They're like burning hell. You must pay 1,000 credits to be able to build here, and then you have to like pay them 1,000 credits. And if they're not happy or very happy, then they're going to continuously send you like nuisances. And I feel like that's something that I don't know if it's in the game yet, but I feel like in a future version it'll be in the game where like if you're in Deathbringer territory and you don't pay them 1,000, you just build, then they should start sending up like ships to start destroying your buildings, or start annoying you. So that's where the diplomatic factions are. You can turn that off in this case. Breakdowns, I'm not too sure what breakdowns is. The fast research and unlimited wealth. Unlimited wealth gives you like it's not necessarily unlimited, but it gives you a lot of ironite. Fast research will make it so that the research that generally will take like 3 to 5 minutes makes it like instant. And then of course you have your coalant infestors. Infestors, I just actually recently got sorry, I kind of brain farted there. I just recently figured out what infestors are. I'm going to throw a video up right here that'll go over that. And I'm not sure, and they're little like bug dudes. Like, I don't know, they're really weird. And then random events, I believe, will fall into the meteor shower, the asteroid shower, and the ion storms, which I'll talk about here in a second as well. And then the economic victory, this is basically how many goods, if you have this checked, how many goods do you have to sell before you are completed with that aspect of it as well. So if you don't have economic victory on, your only victory really is to either make sure you and any alliance CEOs that you have are alive, and any rival company CEO is eliminated. So that's pretty much that, and I really like this. This right here is kind of a good little area to look at as well. I really like the fact that they make it so that you can choose a particular cluster, sector, zone, or system, or you can choose random. And what I think that they should do in the future, in a future update, is make it so each time you click random, this number changes. Because I feel like 1390, that's random for like one occasion, or I could just do 1, whatever the case may be. I mean, you can basically type your own in as well. So explored galaxy basically means that you can see every other planet as soon as you, or every other like system as soon as you like start. So instead of having to send out like a fighter out to actually check to see, do scouting, you can go ahead and you can already see what is out there and what your enemy rivals are doing. And then this is basically, it goes up and down depending. So if you have 0 CEOs, you can have 4 to 9 planets. 1, you can have 5 to 9. 2, 6, and 9, 3, 7, and 9. So the planets will always be, will always be maximum of 9, but then each time you go down in CEOs, rival companies, it'll drop basically. So that's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. Let's jump into the manual aspect. I really love that the first time you launch the game, the manual starts up, and it really goes over a lot, especially if you're not necessarily a real-time strategy player or fan. This kind of explains a lot more about what's really going on in the game. I read through this entire thing, and I really do enjoy how they have everything laid out. I'm interested though to kind of see more how they implement more information into the game and what all else they do with this general manual, because this manual is very very specific. It talks about the ironite, it talks about the coolant crystals, the goods that you really have to build. I didn't even know you could build your goods until a video earlier. So you can definitely build your goods and sell them for traders for money, and then you can also making the money is honestly, there's not really a reason to have money at this point. So I'm really interested to see what other factors they add into the trading system, because the traders, they only come to you with ionite and coolant crystals. So if you don't have any money and you run out of utilize all your resources in your area and you're getting attacked, then it's going to be extremely difficult. This is something that happened in my rookie mistake video, which I'll pop up in my in the info card at this point. So up in the info card, if you click rookie mistakes, you can actually see I basically get completely screwed over because I didn't have enough ionite to build anything else. The trader, I had no money, and I was getting lower and lower on coolant. So basically what ended up happening was I just ended the game because I knew I was going to die because the rival company was right on top of me. Then you can go a little bit further, talking about taking star systems, talking about your power management. It explains in detail exactly what you really need to focus on in terms of the game. So direct control is something that you can really focus on with your ships as well. I'm interested to see what other direct control they add into some of these different ships, like the cruisers and the larger ships as well. I completely forgot the name of them. But on the other side of things, you actually have, whenever you're walking on your station, you have these little panels that you can go up to, and you can in your goods factory, you can actually you assemble your goods. You can go to your docking bay and actually create things. So if you're running from your one area and you have to go through your docking bay, but you need some more fighters out there to protect, you can just jump onto this screen real quick, create more fighters, and then head over to another area. Looking into other corporations and everything, this is something that I was really interested in, primarily because of the factions and the protesters. The factions I did go over a little bit earlier. I really hope to see a little bit more integration with the factions in this game, and how they affect you, especially as their aggression level. But the protesters are really annoying. Protesters are basically individuals that are scattered across the region, and they hate corporations. They hate big corporations, and basically their goal is to just cause you as much annoyances as they can. So they'll be flying around in carriers. They'll be flying around in corvettes. They'll be flying around in small fighters, and their whole goal is to just attack you. They don't even care. So they're gonna attack you on sight regardless. And so will other corporations, unless you're allianced with them, which I believe after maybe if you have 3 or 4 rival companies, you can make an alliance. And then this is the other screen I really wanted to show you guys, the asteroid storm and the ion storm. The asteroid storm is basically rogue asteroids that are they may pass through as they impact. I'm gonna have a video of that up right now that I'm talking over. This will primarily go. This is really interesting because it does do a lot of damage, but the one you really have to be careful for is the ion storm. This is the one that's a huge vast cloud, which if you encounter it, it'll basically drain your shields and start taking health away and damage your ships basically. Unfortunately, this will actually happen in a previous recording that I'm not going to use, but I'll show you guys this video here of an ion storm passing through my rival company's station. It started taking out a bunch of their station shields. It destroyed, I think, 1 or 2 of their ships, and it was causing them a lot more problems than they probably needed. So that's the cool thing about those. You can also destroying the station. Basically, if you take out the bridge, the rest of the station will explode, which I think is really cool. And the bridge is basically the flanking, the command and control area. And yeah, so there's a lot more to it. I really love what they add into the game. What they have in the game so far, and I'm interested to see what they add into the game in future patches and everything. But for the most part, I really think this is a good game. Definitely worth $25, especially once it's out of early access and has everything, including the campaign and protest. I would love to see the credits portion available here soon, primarily because I would love to see who all's worked on the game. Again, talking, I'll give a huge credit over to Keymailer, because they, if it wasn't for Keymailer, I wouldn't know about this game. Because, like I said, I'm not a real-time strategy person, but adding in the first-person shooter aspect, I find that amazing. You can actually just go in and walk around your station. You can look out the windows of your station and see your ships like kind of just like sitting there. I think it's awesome. So with all of that being said, I definitely say that this game's worth the $25, even now before it's fully released. There's so much they're going to be adding into it, and I definitely got to give Haskett Studios a lot of credit here, because they've done phenomenal work. So I'm going to leave a link to their Twitter, their Steam link, the Keymailer link in the description below, so you guys can check it out yourselves. I would definitely recommend it, and maybe if you guys get the game, we can potentially do some multiplayer on stream here on YouTube in the future, and would definitely enjoy playing with some people. So with all of that being said, I appreciate you guys watching that. Remember, I definitely give this one a thumbs up, so do me a favor and give this video a thumbs up. My name is Severed Astronaut, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.